All right, good evening and welcome to the Parks and Rec Commission meeting. I would like to officially call this meeting to order at 5 o'clock. Roll call, with myself being present, I will officially take roll call. Commissioner Kramer, Commissioner Jones, Commissioner Keck,
Present.
and Commissioner Osmondstad. Present. Okay, the first item is general public comment. This is the time members of the public may give comment of a general nature. No official action may be taken by the commission during this time unless it is to direct staff to look into a matter. Public comments are limited to 5 minutes. If you are watching online and would like to make a public comment, please send a chat message to the host in Zoom.
We have a public comment from Avery Franz. Did I pronounce that right?
Yes, you did.
Avery, can you state your name and whether or not you are a resident of Clarkdale?
My name is Avery France. I am a resident of Phoenix, but a president of a nonprofit that represents members that are in Clarkdale and the rest of Arizona.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, you can proceed with your comment.
Thank you. Good evening, members of the Parks and Recreation Commission. Thank you for allowing me to speak. My name is Avery France, and I'm the president of the Bucky O'Neill Camp, number 175, Sons of Spanish American War Veterans, a nonprofit organization dedicated to preserving the memory of Spanish American War veterans and honoring its veterans. I'm here with a request to honor a remarkable piece of Clarkdale's history that might otherwise fade from memory. I'm speaking of Cuba, a small dog who served as one of the mascots for the Rough Riders under Theodore Roosevelt during the Spanish-American War. Cuba accompanied the Rough Riders to Cuba, was recognized by President Theodore Roosevelt, and was a beloved companion of the regiment, even joining them during the capture of San Juan Hill. After the war, Cuba the dog was returned to America and was entrusted to Samuel Black, an Arizona Ranger who lived in the lower Pex River Valley in Clarkdale. When Cuba passed away in 1911, he was laid to rest on Black's ranch under an apple tree. However, this land was sold to the mines and served as a dumping site, making it inaccessible and unsuitable for any memorial due to contamination. For this reason, we are respectfully asking permission to install a small memorial to Cuba in a Clarkdale Town Park, operated by Parks and Recreations, where both residents and visitors can honor this unique piece of local and national history in an accessible and respectful location. Our organization has set aside $500 for this project with the intention to fully fund the memorial. Additionally, we would handle all aspects of the memorial production, dedication, and payment without requiring a memorial dedication program from Clarkdale. Our aim is to provide a modest marker or plaque that would harmonize with the park's aesthetic, working closely with the city to ensure the tribute reflects the spirit of Clarkdale. By commemorating Cuba's story, we give the community a chance to connect with Clarkdale's heritage and recognizing the town's unique ties to the Rough Riders and the Spanish-American War. Cuba's story embodies the spirit of our veterans and honors the history of those who called Clarkdale home over a century ago. Thank you very much for considering this meaningful project in freedom, patriotism, and humanity. Avery France, President. Thank you. That's the end of my comments.
Thank you. While we have them here, does anybody have any questions or comments or? Okay, thank you so much. We will ask the staff to look into it and get back to you.
So if you will just enter your phone number or your preferred method of contact in the chat, Avery, then we will follow up with you, okay?
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, we will move on to reports, and Manager Shell Smart will give us the first one on the Parks and Rec Youth Advisor.
Hi, everybody. Good evening. Joni Westcott, our Parks and Rec Director, is not present this evening. She's homesick. So she asked me to step in, and so we're going to quickly catch you guys up. I'm sure you all had a chance to review your packets, but we wanted to let you know that we have been working on filling our youth advisor position. And we did have an applicant who we've moved forward to the next stage of that process. She is in 8th grade at Clark Jerome Elementary School, and we have a panel that interviews all of our board and commission candidates. And that same panel will be interviewing our youth advisor, and then we will bring you all an update. As far as recruitment, I know that there had been a question about that, so I included that in the update and just noted that we did recruit from Mingus Union High School, Clark Jerome Elementary, Cottonwood Oak Creek School District, and we reached out to the public through a press release, weekly e-newsletters, social media, small talk, and an announcement at the last concert of the park of the season. Concert in the park. All right, that's all that I have on that one.
Okay, do you have an update on the town park gazebo restoration?
Yes, we have a brief update for you guys tonight. I'm sure you've all noticed they're over there working hard getting that done. We are expecting it to be done by the end of December, but there's some slightly more extensive damage to the roof than was originally expected. So it might take a little bit longer than that. Right now, we're about 40% of the way through construction. They've been working on the siding. There was extensive termite damage. And if you all are interested in getting more detailed updates, almost every week, Town Manager Guthrie is putting that in her weekly e-newsletter. So you can sign up for that or look for that there if you get those emailed, okay?
Is that it for you?
That's all for that one.
Okay, the next item is minutes. We'd like to discuss the minutes from our regular meeting held on October 2nd, 2024. Does anyone have any discussion on this item? Okay, well, could I hear a motion to accept these minutes?
From the special meeting of the Parks and Rec Commission of the town of Clarkdale from Wednesday, October 2nd, 2024, at 5 p.m. as written.
I'll second.
Okay. It's been moved by Commissioner Kramer and seconded by Commissioner Osmondstad to approve the draft minutes for the meeting held on October 2nd, 2024 as written. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Okay, the motion passes unanimously. Thank you. Next, our discussion items only. No action will be taken. The first one is the 2024 Halloween event, and that will be presented by Parks and Rec Coordinator Cosman.
Guys. So Halloween went really well this year. We had about 1,299, so just shy of 1,300 kids participate. We did, with your feedback, make some adjustments such as really highlighting a costume parade rather than best contest overall. Group to cheer while the kids were walking around. And then we did 4 $15 awards rather than the different staggered amounts. And we did start the parade with an older group of kiddos this year. So all in all, we feel the event went really well. We want some feedback from you guys for this year's event and maybe suggestions for what you guys are thinking for next year, or if you didn't feel it went so well, what we could improve on.
Does anyone have any suggestions or comments?
I think it'll be better when we have more space, which is what we'll have when we're not doing construction. But otherwise, I thought it went well. I like the changes that we made. I think that as part of the outro, as we're wrapping up and we divert the 4 winners to the winner's circle, having everybody else go and hit the candy table to grab their bags and wrap it up, I think would be the kind of nice way. I think that was the one thing I would have done differently, is maybe positioned where the candy grab was in a different spot so that it was kind of part of the end of the parade. Is like you walk by and you get your handful of candy or whatever. That's one thing that I thought would be, because it was just a little awkward, like just where it was and how that worked. But otherwise, I thought it went really well.
Yeah, I think next year, once we have the gazebo back, we could maybe direct even the winners to go stand on the steps of the gazebo to just kind of get them up and out of the way so it's clear where they're at, but I definitely agree with the candy bowl. Anyone?
Anybody else?
have any?
Okay, thank you. We'll move on to Selnam Genie Park and Parks and Rec Manager Shell Smart.
All right, so this is the item that, I mean, we're really excited about all the items, but this is the one that especially this week and this month and this year, we spent a lot of time working on, and we had a lot of progress this week because town council approved the construction contract last night. So that is wonderful. And the total amount that that contract came in at is a little bit different than was in your packet. So it's $2,726,589.40. And because we were slightly over budget, the original budget, town council designated other funds that can cover that overage as needed. So we are in really good shape with our budget. And one thing that came up that was really exciting, you guys probably saw in your packet, is that we have the opportunity to apply for an additional $500,000 from the land water conservation funding. And so we are in the process of doing that. We have received preliminary assurances that that should go well. So we expect that to go in our favor. And then we won't have any overages anticipated at that point, and we'll have surplus that we can talk about and try to use in the park to really get the most out of our park plan. The first proposal so Joni actually built this one, so I want to go over a little bit of the history. And she wanted you guys to know that the first bid from Fan Contracting, who is the contracting company, came back about $600,000 over budget, and we were able to cut a little over $400,000 from that without cutting any of our park amenities. So we're excited about that. The fourth proposal was the final proposal. We ended up taking our proposal to council, or the contract to council at this time, because we had some questions about end of year discounts going away because of how long it's been since we got that quote for our playground equipment and some of the other material costs going up at the end of this year. So we wanted to lock in those rates. And it was unanimously approved by council. They were incredibly supportive in their comments. The preliminary construction work, I don't know, I'm sure all of you have seen it down there, but excavation is complete, and we were able to save about $32,000 with some of the decisions that we made in regards to excavating. The grading survey is complete, and Freeport has been down there working on the grading. And their work will save us at least $130,000, likely more than that in the grading that they're completing for us. Staff met with Arizona State Parks, like I said, and we will be applying before the due date of November 27th for that additional $500,000. We also applied for a grant with the Friends of the Verde River for $5,000. It's going to go towards a gray water recycling demonstration. And we should hear about whether or not we were awarded that this December. We did hear back from the Arizona Community Foundation that the $10,000 grant that we applied for signage was not awarded, and we're waiting for feedback from them. Salt River Materials Group has agreed to donate all of the boulders that we'll need for the park, which is going to save us a lot of money, as well as some specimen boulders to educate on the local rocks that are in our area. And Joni also reached out to their sister company, Martin Marietta, about donating concrete for the park. Concrete costs are a little over $100,000. And so we're waiting to hear back from them to see if they'd be willing to assist us in that way. And a sponsorship brochure is at each of your spots there. It's still a draft, But these are some of the unfunded STEAM-related items that we're really hoping we'll be able to include in our park plan. And so once we get our internal feedback, including any feedback you all might have for us related to this, then we will be going out to our local businesses, out to our community members and asking if there's anything that they'd like to help support us with. And last night, actually, we received our first donation before the campaign has even officially kicked off. So we did receive a $5,000 donation from the Mayor's Family Trust that will go towards a STEAM item. So I want to pause it there really quickly and see if you guys have any questions about the brochure or any comments on the brochure.
I think it looks great. What things are you considering changing things or what things or?
We are open to any feedback that you might have in relation to this. We do
One-
have a few more items that may end up going into the brochure, but we aren't anticipating removing any of the items that are in here unless we receive other feedback.
I have one suggested edit. While I would be happy to receive checks from all over, I believe that having my PO box on here is probably not the one that I would to
Okay,
receive
it should
all the
be
donation
308
checks. Maybe we do
instead of
308 for the town of
307
Clarksville rather than
instead of
307 for
307.
Ben Kramer at
Well,
all.
I apologize, and we do not want that going
That's,
to you.
well, I would
Make
be
sure
happy
that's
to cash all of the checks that are received.
As long as they're made
We'll make
to you.
sure that that's updated. Thank you, Mr. Kramer.
Happy to help with that. Thank you.
Anybody else have any suggestions, comments?
Looks great.
Okay, all right, so then the next item really is that we received a donation of $1,500 from Made in Clarkdale that's going to go towards our artist payments for the art wall. That's wonderful. We're planning on selecting 9 artists for, and so the town will also be sponsoring a portion of those payments, but that donation is something that we're excited about. Arizona State University Project Cities. Oh, go ahead. Sure.
I was just thinking about the art. Now I saw a few come in an email today. How many do we have so far?
So far, we have at least 4, and I'm anticipating at least 3 more from verbal, Go ahead, Bailey.
And some of them have multiple submissions in
That's
one.
true. Yes, so artists are allowed to submit as many as they want within that. So we are expecting to have some last minute entries tomorrow, and we did post again on social media to remind everybody of the due date, which is tomorrow. It's the 15th.
11th, 12th, 13th. That's Friday.
Yeah, I'm sorry,
Yeah.
Friday.
Okay. Thank you.
Okay. And yeah, okay. So Arizona State University Project Cities, they are the group that we have partnered with to help us with the STEAM signage. And they have brought back first drafts for staff to review. We've been looking at those and sending them back our feedback so that they can make changes. The artist working group, that's our town artist working group, is going to be reviewing some of those signage drafts on November 21. And then the final student showcase presentation is listed on there Wednesday, December 4th, and it will be available via a Zoom link if anyone is interested in viewing that. They will be able to find the Zoom link on our website under Parks and Recreation in the Selma Mangini, on the Selma Mangini page. Made in Clarkdale is also going to be providing feedback on the signage. And then on Wednesday, December 11th, as long as we do have that commission meeting, we will be bringing the signage to you all to take a look at. But that will actually be past the point when the students would be making any changes. So the town will reserve the right and ability to make any updates, but the students will be done by then. And funding of up to $10,000 may come our way from Arizona State University. They told us that between 7,000 and 11,000 might be available. So we will find out about that. And since we're looking at wanting to have some interactive and manipulable signage, we are happy to be receiving that donation. We currently have about $30,000 earmarked for signage. So we want to make sure that it's engaging and beautiful and communicating our concepts well. So they're helping us to refine those things. All right, so the artist working group, we wanted to update you that we completed the first request for proposal for the art wall. And so artists are submitting their sketches by November 15th. The group is going to review these applications and the sketches that were asked for on November 21, and then nine artists are going to be awarded. The working group is going to discuss which sculptures are going to be wanted in the park as well. So we are building the request for proposal for them to look at for sculptures next. So we're just taking it one piece at a time. It's going to be the art wall first, then sculptures, and then we'll move on to a few other artist elements. And once some selections are made, we'll come back, we'll show you guys what they picked and keep you in the loop as we move through getting public art into some of our parks. Okay. All right, are there any other questions?
Who makes up the public art working group?
So we have a collection of a few of our elected officials and then mainly local artists in Clarkdale. So they will be the ones who are through a blind review process selecting the art. They won't know anything about who submitted it.
And when you say 9 artists, is it really 9 submissions?
It's really 9 submissions, although we are hoping it will be 9 artists. We would like to showcase as many great local artists as we can, but it will depend on the number of submissions we get and really those that stand out the most. The theme is Scenes of the Verde River Watershed. So if you know anybody who wants to stay up late tonight and draw a sketch, tell them to send it our way. And all of the details are on our website under the Selnamon Genie Park page.
Okay, did anybody else have anything to say on this?
I don't have a question, but I just wanted to congratulate staff on all this work. It's really amazing, and to hear the negotiation that happened with the contract and where it ended up, it's just really exciting. So thank you.
Thank you. All right, Bailey, you ready?
Okay, we'll move on to new business. 2024 Santa Comes to Clarkdale event. We will discuss, consider, and act upon that. And Parks and Rec Coordinator Bailey Cosman will present.
I feel like I'm missing a Santa hat right now. So it's that time of year again. Santa's going to come to Clarkdale. If you haven't been to the event, John, I don't know if you have. We do photos with Santa, complimentary cookies and hot cocoa. There's a station for writing letters to Santa, a craft station, and last year we had inline games and activities, thanks to Commissioner Osmondstad, which worked out really well. So if you look on to the next page after the staff report, our proposed event plan is the event will take place on December 7th from noon to 2 p.m. here in the men's lounge. Due to the gazebo being under construction, we are going to move it back to the men's lounge. We've done it in the park for the past 3 years, but before that it was done here. So we're thinking same thing as last year. The attendees will take a photo with Santa with their own phones to help alleviate some staff time, as well as they'll have them right then and there for their family to share. We'll do some music and we'll look to expand the letters to Santa to involve some more younger kid-friendly options, and same with the crafts. So we do have on the last page in your packet a brief layout of what we're hoping to have it look like here in the men's lounge. kids will enter through the back of the building, allowing for some games and activity and a longer line because it does tend to pile up a little bit. And they'll come in, be able to do pictures with Santa, and then have their cookies and hot cocoa. So we're hoping if you guys have any feedback or any suggestions.
Well, I'm glad it's in here because now I can kind of picture. It's hard not to picture. I was thinking it was going to be real crowded in here, but is it going to be all the way back? Are we going to use all this area right here?
Try to, yeah. We do have to section off a tiny bit of space just to hide the chairs back behind the partitions, but we will use the partitions that are over there to help maximize our space as much as possible.
Yeah, after we talked about it last week, my only concern was I feel like not letting them, oh, we're only going to let them leave through these doors.
Yes, so the
I
idea
feel like
is
it
that-
might get, I guess we can make that decision on the round. If it gets too congested, we can say, okay.
Figured out, yeah.
Yeah.
So,
But I like
Yeah.
the idea of coming around here and in.
yeah, and then that way with the back way, it has the ADA access with the ramp. The front does too, but it's will kind of impede. It's the same weekend as Made in Clarkdale. So that ladies lounge between there and the auditorium might be a tiny bit busy. So with us going and moving it through the back with that ramp, it should help for anyone who needs the ADA compliance.
And Santa.
And yes, Santa will be coming through the front doors for his grand entrance for the kids. So that'll help.
With his entrance and exit.
Nice. I think it'll do well. Does anybody, Bailey and I were talking last week about whether we should have a set craft or just let them free range.
Free for all.
Anybody have any?
I think having like some examples of something that they could make is always good. And then, they can freeform if they feel inspired.
Mm.
I have a question. So they're coming in the back. Is there a shortcut to the back from the front? Are they going all up here? Okay.
Yeah, there is a sidewalk that goes all the way down the side into the back from the parking lot, so. We will have a lot of signs pointing them to the correct place, so.
And then it looks like you'll have stanchions in here to blue and get them out. Yeah.
Yeah, we'll have it so that way there is a definitive line for the kids to stand in and kind of go through to see Santa.
Will we limit the number of people in this area? No.
I think if it starts getting congested for those kids who have probably taken their picture with Santa, I would hope that the parents would kind of be like, all right, let's go. We've had our fun. So I don't foresee that being a problem. A lot of the parents, especially last year with my experience, once they got their picture with Santa, they were pretty good to go. So.
Yeah. And I think, like we said, if we feel like we're bursting, then we'll let them out.
Yeah.
Or let them out. And okay, what do we think? So the games, are we just not going, what are we doing with games?
Well, if Commissioner Osmondstad is still willing to do games this year, I think we can sit together and brainstorm ways to make that work. We will have the entire back view deck available for such as the obstacle course last year, but we still want to make games a good function in line. So we're trying to figure out a way to have it that they can still be utilized.
Sorry. Yeah, I think the inline games will work out really well. So my other thought was if we still wanted to do the obstacle course, do you think it would be possible to, is there room out front or is there no?
No, not with how much traffic there will be on campus that day. So I would suggest if we are going to do the obstacle course to have it remain in the back so it's out of the way of the Made in Clarkdale patrons.
And kids would just get out of line and go do that and
So
have their
last-
parents keep their place or whatever.
Yeah, that's how we did it last year. We'd let the parents know, hey, have your kids go enjoy the games, the obstacle course, you can stay in line, and when it's time to come back, just make sure they can hear you. So.
Anybody else? Suggestions?
What about having like jars of candy canes? You could guess how many are in the jar and we could call the winner.
That would be fun.
And they could win a whole jar of candy canes. An entire jar. Imagine.
Coming from a parent who will have a child at this event, no, thank you. No, that does sound fun. Some guessing games. For Halloween, we had taken our kids to a trunk or treat that kind of had like little experiences at different tables where one was a thing of corn, but they said it was monster teeth and you can put your hand in without seeing. So that would be a cool thing to do, but Christmas wise, so they could put their hands into a thing of cotton balls and it be snow or whatnot.
Yeah, Milk Duds, give me reindeer, something from reindeer as an example.
There any further discussion?
Are we using the piano for the music or that will just be
We'll
there?
probably do it over the speaker so
Okay.
we can have a set playlist.
Would anything change if the weather was bad?
So luckily, there wouldn't be much to change. The men's lounge is usually our backup for inclement weather. The most that would happen is we would probably adjust where people would come in from, and we would probably eliminate the inline games because those are more so an outside aspect.
Anybody else? Right, well, staff recommends the commission approve the 2024 Santa Comes to Clarkdale event plan. Do I hear a motion?
I'll move to approve the plan.
Do you want your microphone?
I'll move to approve the plan as written.
I'll second.
Okay, it's been moved by Commissioner Kramer and seconded by Commissioner Keck to approve the 2024 Santa Comes to Clarkdale event as written. Is there any further discussion? Okay, so it's been moved and seconded to approve the 2024 Santa Comes to Clarkdale. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Aye. All opposed? And the motion passes unanimously. Okay, we'll move on to any future agenda items. I have one. We never came back, and I meant to mention this, but the Copper Penny Park sign, what happened with that? It was on the agenda and then it was taken off.
So we can add that as a future agenda item and
Okay.
have that discussion.
Perfect. And then I guess it depends on when our meeting is in December or January, but I guess concerts are coming up already. It seems like we just stopped them, but that might be something depending on when our meeting is. Anybody else? Okay. With no further items, is there any objection to adjournment?
None.
No. All right. Well, then this meeting is adjourned at 5:33. Thank you all.
Thank you.